Alright, so I think when this video comes out, I've already posted a bunch, I think, garage videos is what I'm doing right now. And you're going to hear me talk about my bike being down. Now, my bike's been down for about, at this point, when I currently recorded this video, I'm going the wrong way, damn it. It's been down for about a month and a half. That means I haven't ridden in about a month and a half. It's going on 2 months. It's getting really bad for me. And we're in the middle of summer, so this is prime, and I don't know if I should say prime bike riding season, because here in South Texas, it is hot. What's the current temperature? This tells me it is 91 degrees currently, and it's hot outside. 91, that's cool. That's cool. Like 91 at 12:35, that's cool in South Texas. For me, it's a nice day. Like 91, I love 91. 91's a great temperature for me. My bike broke. Started working on Ian's GY6 scooter. Not broke, but like. All right, so we went riding one night. We were going out to the bar. I just got my switches redone and all that. I was in a knee knocker just testing out the new 45 tooth rear sprocket, thinking, you know, how does this work? How is the sprocket? Is it good for wheelies? And I just picked up like a 4th gear knee knocker and was just carrying it down the street. I'm just sitting there and I just see a spark at the bottom of my bike, and I was like, uh oh, that's bad. Might as well bring my wheelie down. So I brought the wheelie down. And as soon as I get down, I just go down the road another, I don't know, couple 100 feet maybe. Smoke starts pouring out of my bike, and I was like, oh, here's an electrical fire. And immediately just kills my bike. My bike just goes, dies out. So I reached behind the headlight, and in the middle of smoke, even Ian said he was worried it was going to be a fire. And I reached behind the headlight, and I just ripped all the wires, because I knew that's where I knew there's a power wire, or the main power wire is right here. So I ripped it and all the wires, and it knocked out my power. So I was like, sweet, there goes that. Stopped the smoke. So I ended up finding out was the wires had gotten fried again. The stock switch wires were too thin, and they fried up. And apparently it also fried all the way to a ground wire to my coil. So I'm pretty sure it took out my coil. Coming to find out, it took out my CDI. I ended up switching my coil. I had another CDI. I plugged it in. The bike started, but then died out immediately. So we like cranked up the idle, got it to idle at like 4,000 RPMs, but we could never get it to idle down. So I was like, oh, it must be a carburetor issue. So we've been pulling carburetors and trying carburetors. Got the carburetor 100% clean, everything done to it. Took it to a shop, had it rebuilt. Still couldn't get it started. Had it done over to my other buddy place, and because then the shop was like, oh, because all you do is you kick it and it would just backfire. It's like you've either got a timing issue, which we've never opened up the bike, so it doesn't have a timing issue. There's no way it skipped a chain, right? No way a tooth skipped. And they're like, oh, your valves must be 0 clearance. Has to be a 0 clearance valve issue. And I was like, there's no way. Like, my valves are not tight. The bike, when it was warm, would start on 1 kick. Therefore, my valves aren't tight. That's a given for CRFs. And even then, when it was cold, 2 or 3 kicks. As soon as it got gas into the airstream, bam, first kick, it would start. So I was like, that's not right. So I had my other buddy check it out, because the shop is just, they want like $100. They want like an hour to check valves. I was like, it takes 15 minutes to check valves. Like, get out of here. I just don't have the time for it right now. And I'm talking like my job was just every day, 10, 12-hour days. So I was just like, I don't have time for this. So I let my buddy pick it up, took it over to his place, checked the valves. He checked it, carburetor, checked everything for me. And sure enough, said the same. And he's like, you have an electrical issue. He's like, I bet you your CDI, your coil is bad. He doesn't have the tools to test them, so he's like, and he's not an electrical guy. That's my job. I'm supposed to be an electrical guy. So he's like, you're probably right. You probably have a failed ECU again, which I don't think so. I was like, no, this ECU is supposed to be good. Supposed to be good. I haven't used it in like two years, so I was like, came off another bike, so I was like, He's like, well, you got a bad coil, or your pickup coil inside the stator is bad. And I was like, I hope not. Hope it's not the stator pickup. So then I got the bike home, and I was able to start it. We got at 6,000 RPMs, and I idled it down to 4, let it sit there for a little bit, and then started idling it down again, and it died on me. I was like, man, and now I can't get it started again. I cranked up the idle, can't get it started. I've gotten it to cough one more time, so I just bought, it's supposed to be here tomorrow, I think. Today, the 6th? Yeah, today's the 6th. So on the 7th, I'm supposed to get a brand new wiring harness. Not brand new, but I bought a used wiring harness with a coil and an ECU. I was seeing ECUs go for like 80 bucks. I found the whole wiring harness, coil, and ECU off a used bike for about 85 bucks. So I was like, boom. If this doesn't work, I still got another ECU off my buddy's bike that I know works, and he's got a coil. So I'm going to take that bike that's in my garage, and I'm going to pull its wiring harness as well, probably. Pull my bike apart and do that. Now, I'm also debating. My bike's been down for enough time, and I'm about to like almost rip it completely apart just to look at all this, that I'm debating about pulling my motor, putting it in my spare frame, building like a wooden jig for it so that I can kick off the spare frame. Since I'm also talking about going back to a stock wiring harness, not my extended harness because I've moved all my computers and stuff, that I might just run it on the stock harness in that frame and then have my frame and stuff painted. So it's also a lot of money. I have a decent amount of money saved up. I just don't want to blow all my money that I've saved up into paint. I don't want to paint it all crappy either. I don't want to like go buy a paint gun, hook my compressor up, and like epoxy paint it, which I can do, and it'll look fairly good for a little while. But we all know it'll end up being bad. Or I'll just take my bike. I'll just take my bike and everything out, put it in another frame, and I can just polish my frame. Which is probably the thing I'm gonna do. Is that I'll just go get the drill out and polish it, and I'll have a polished frame, and then I can go paint it down the road. So I'm probably leaning towards polishing my frame, getting the bike to run separately in my spare frame, and then coming back over, reinstalling it. Because honestly, the motor install is not hard to do. It's not like I'm taking the bike completely down, knocking the bearings out for powder coat, which, unless I can find somebody that powder coats relatively cheaply that does a good job, because I don't want to bad powder coat. But my brother and I are also literally just now talking about making an oven so that him and I can powder coat my frame and his frame, because he took his Sierra 450X back, the X I've been riding, he took it back, and he's already told me he's got the wiring harness laid completely out on the floor, and it's just trad. Like, I'm just like, yeah, there's a lot of wires on the stock harness, and I've been wanting to rebuild that harness forever. So what I might end up doing is, when I get my wiring harness back to working again, I might go back, take the one I built, and re-extending my wires, because I'm gonna move my computers again. So I'll be shooting a video on how to extend the wires in the stock harness to move them into the X. So if you have an R model and you buy an X subframe and an X exhaust, you can do my subframe swap. Then you can move your computers behind the rear fenders, or behind the left-hand side rear fender, right by the airbox door. So I like the X subframe because you get a door to clean your filters a little easier. And then right behind that rear fender, you'll get a pocket, and you literally, ECU gets there, the stator pickup wires get in there, and actually the stator pickup wires go in there without extending the stock harness. You're only extending the ECU because the ECU is right behind the headlight, and now you're moving it behind the airbox. So you just have to cut those wires and then extend those wires back there, and that's really it. Everything else just kind of tucks up there nice and neat. And then it gets this really clean harness, like everything runs along the frame, and then I was gonna loom the harness, the stock harness for the bike is all gonna get loomed to look real nice, and then my individual lighting harness will get loomed up. All I need to do is add a radiator fan, which I have the fan. I gotta rebuild the plate for it, but that's the last thing I need to do, so I'll work on that soon. And I need to add a circuit for it, and that's really it. That's the last bit of my harness. But I'm trying to get the bike running so I can actually ride, because I'm losing my mind. So my bike has been a bit of a project lately. It's probably going to be a bit of a project. And then when I blew up my 17-inch rims, I borrowed my brother's, and we put his X on dirt trim when it was down. When I stopped riding it. So I was trying to rebuild it so that by the time he came home, it'd be ready for him. That didn't happen. So I put it back on the dirt trim. I took his 17s. I rode his 17s. He bought another 06 Sierra 450X. So he's on a whole new bike, and he took the stock dirt trim, 21-inch front tire, 18-inch rear. Because apparently the X has an 18-inch rear. Didn't know that. News to me. I thought they were all on 19s. Apparently 18s are better for, well, anyway, so he bought cruiser tires, like 21-inch front cruiser tire and an 18-inch rear cruiser tire. Threw them on that bike, and we have bike life tires. You guys seen it? It's like you take the stock dirt bike tires, you put cruiser tires on it, so you have street rubber on your dirt bike rims. It's called, and it's part of that bike life seat. That guys that are doing wheelies and stuff stop buying dirt tires and bought street tires for dirt bikes. It looks funny. I actually like the look a lot better. Like, the rim looks better, although they talked him into, the dealership talked him into stock dirt bike size rubber, which I really wish he would have like told me he was buying tires, because I would have told him to buy like a 120 front, not a 100. So it's like this real bicycle tire on the front, so he's got like a 100 on the front tire, and the rear is, I think, a 110. So it's this real skinny rear tire, and I'm just like, oh man. But I did do wheelies on his 06 when I had the tire still on it, and you get to whip the bike around so easy in a mid wheelie. So like, your swerve game gets really well. It gets really good. Yeah, because a dirt bike tire, say like it's a 110 or a 120 rear, but the knobs that stick off the side aren't measured, and so it ends up being like this 140 rear tire that's on your dirt bike, but it's measured as a 100 or a 110. So I was like, they're foolish for selling you that, or whoever sold you that just doesn't know what they're talking about. Which is fine. Dirt bike guys often don't know tire sizes very well, but that's a whole other story. Yeah, so my brother's been riding around in Killeen. It's been good. I now have my trailer hitch installed on the Prius. My trailer's in the backyard. I just got to do a set of rims and a set of tires for my axle that I currently have. And I've got another axle in the backyard. I've had it. It's got some crappy rims on it, some crappy tires. So I want to go buy. And actually, I'll probably go do that tonight. I'll go look in Northern. I'll go look at some rims. Oh, I need to find out what plug pattern I have. I'll go look at some rims and some tires. And then I want to do the axle swap. I need to buy a little trailer hitch for this, a little 1/4 inch trailer hitch, and I'm gonna make the hole bigger to take a 2-inch ball hitch. Because I'm not running 1/4 inch. No, I'm not building it. And I plan on building my own trailer, and I'm not running a 1/4 inch ball, because then it's only limited to this car. While as if, let's say, like, I want to add my trailer to my brother's pickup truck, he's got a 2-inch ball hitch. It's just going to be running 2-inch hitches, and I'm not going to like unbolt my trailer hitch to bolt on it. It just doesn't make sense. It's stupid. And honestly, like, the hitch, you can buy a 1/4 inch hitch that's got a wide shank, and then you just drill out the hole and you put a 2-inch ball hitch. The thing only supposed to be taking 200 pounds on tongue weight anyway, so I'm not worried about expanding the hole is going to weaken the metal and all that. It's really not. There you go, into that sketch factory that I'm known for. So I got a lot going on. Videos are going to be short and few in between. I'm trying to do garage videos, but garage videos are boring. So I'm going to try and spice it up, work on my editing. I had a video, I had like a 2.5 hour video, maybe 2 hours before, almost 3 hour video of me in the garage. But had my headphones in because I was listening to music, because I don't want to have background music playing, and that's going to get me put on copyright infringements and all that kind of crap. It's just annoying to deal with. Not that I get enough views anyways, and if I put out a garage video, I'm not going to get any views. I don't really care about copyrights, but it's annoying to get the messages every whatever. They send you an email, they send you this, and they just bombard you with messages for it. So I wasn't talking to the camera, I wasn't interacting with the camera, I wasn't moving the camera around the garage and stuff, so I found out that it was just a really, really boring video. So I'm gonna work on moving the camera around, but like, I shot the first night of us, or I started editing for the first night of us doing the garage, or the GY6 swap, and there's just so many interactions from talking that it looks pretty, I think it's pretty good, I think it's pretty interesting. It's kind of boring because it's just like one camera angle of it, so possibly gonna work on that. And then again, I had like Kyle sitting around and his girlfriend, and then Ian's girlfriend was sitting around. I should have gave them the camera and like had them walking around with it, like shooting the actual scene, and then I would have got B-roll footage as well. And I wish, this would have been the point if I had a second camera, I could have got B-roll footage from that. So I'm working on editing as well. I think especially while it's slow on my videos, I'm gonna try to work on editing. Yeah, so sorry my bike's down. Sorry it's been a long process. I've got a whole lot of work to do. Like even today's a slow day, but I'm on paperwork, and I've got to come up with. I've actually got to rewrite a training program. I've just got a whole lot going on, and then I got to train all my employees, and I've got something like 40 valets to train. So, and I got to do them individually because we're kind of too busy for me to sit down with 40 guys and a couple of girls, you know, and hey, these are the new training standards, blah blah blah. Like, so it's just gonna take time, and that's the name of my business. So I hope to bring you guys better edits soon. Like, that's my main goal, is bringing out better edits, more interesting videos. I'm working on it, so hopefully enjoy what I kind of put out, and hopefully I get to put out some extra videos coming soon. So, but I'll catch you guys in the next video.